Good morning, boys and girls. I hope you all had lovely Easter holidays. I'm here to read you a story. I'm going to read you Little Red Riding Hood, which I'm sure you all already know, by Miles Kelly. And the illustrator is Monica Filipina. Little Red Riding Hood lived in a cottage by a wood. One day her mother said, "Your grandma is ill. Please take this basket of cakes and fruit to her." So Little Red Riding Hood set off with the basket, wearing her red cape. "Don't talk to strangers, especially not to the wolves," her mother called. "Bye, Mum." And off she went. Little Red Riding Hood walked through the wood. The trees were tall and made scary shadows. Suddenly, a wolf jumped out. "Hello," growled the wolf. "Where are you going?" "I'm taking some cakes and fruit to my grandma," said Little Red Riding Hood. He looks very hungry with his tongue out. "What a sweet child you are," said the wolf. "Why not pick your grandma some flowers too?" With that, the big bad wolf ran off, leaving Little Red Riding Hood happily picking flowers. Little did she know that the wolf had raced ahead to Grandma's house. And there she is, picking a beautiful bunch of flowers for her grandma. And Grandma's house is just here. When he arrived, the wolf knocked softly on the door. "Let me in, Grandma," he called. "I've bought you some cakes and fruit." "It's me, Grandma." But Grandma wasn't silly. "That's not Little Red Riding Hood's voice," she said quickly. She made her bed and hid in the wardrobe. "Grandma!" The wolf burst into the cottage, but Grandma was nowhere to be seen. So he dressed himself in her nightgown and bedcap and got into bed. He hasn't noticed that she's in the cupboard, has he? And here comes Little Red Riding Hood, you can see in the window. "Grandma, it's me." Soon Little Red Riding Hood knocked on the door. "Come in, dear," snarled the wolf in his nicest voice. "Grandma, you look odd," said Little Red Riding Hood. "Come and sit beside me, dear," growled the wolf. She's got her beautiful bunch of flowers that the wolf told her to pick her as well. Little Red Riding Hood sat on the bed. "What big ears do you have, Grandma?" she said. "All the better to hear you with, dear," replied the wolf. "What big eyes you have, Grandma." "All the better to see you with, my dear." She looks very different to her grandma, doesn't he? "And your teeth are just huge!" exclaimed Little Red Riding Hood. "All the better to eat you with," said the wolf, and he pounced. Bang, 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 went a noise on the cupboard door. Little Red Riding Hood screamed loudly and ran away. The wolf leapt after her, but suddenly there was a banging at the door. I wonder who it might be. Little Red Riding Hood opened the door. There stood a woodcutter who had heard her screams. He raised his axe, and with a howl of fear, the big bad wolf dashed past the woodcutter, out of the cottage, and away into the forest. You can see all the woodland creatures watching to see what's going on as well. Little Red Riding Hood and the woodcutter heard strange knocking coming from the bedroom. They opened the wardrobe door and out tumbled Grandma. "This is a cause for a celebration," exclaimed Grandma. So she put the kettle on and laid the table. They all sat down to tea and cakes. Yummy! Never again did Little Red Riding Hood talk to strangers. As for the wolf, he kept well away from the little girls, especially those wearing red capes. And there you can see him at the end of the forest. The end. I like that version of Little Red Riding Hood because it's a nice happy ending at the end of it. I hope you enjoyed it too.